Whoa! That last video was pretty epic, right? Taking down that Cyclops by cross-linking his ankles? Genius! These next few chemotherapeutic agents act very similarly to alkylating agents, though they don't contain alkyl groups and therefore don't undergo alkylating reactions. Instead, these agents carry something much more precious. Platinum. Sorry, that was supposed to be more dramatic than creepy. The cytotoxic effects of platinum were discovered serendipitously after the observation that platinum inhibited the growth of E. coli, and since then several platinum analogs have been synthesized, including cisplatin, carboplatin, and oxaliplatin. The exact mechanism of action of the platinum analogs is pretty unclear, but they're thought to exert their cytotoxic effects in the same manner as alkylating agents. In other words, they bind DNA through the formation of intrastrand and interstrand crosslinks, thereby leading to inhibition of DNA synthesis and function. But instead of cross-linking DNA with alkyl groups, these agents cross-link with platinum. It's kind of like this precious platinum necklace here sitting in the window. Notice that its chain is comprised of a double helix, reminiscent of double-stranded DNA. See how the two strands are fashionably cross-linked by some platinum chain links? Don't you just love it? I'm just crazy about platinum. The primary binding site is the N7 position of adjacent guanines, either on the same strand or across on the complementary strand. Or they can just bind one guanine and stick off to the side as a monoadduct, or even cross-link the DNA with a protein. This cross-linking action kills tumor cells in all stages of the cell cycle. Let this crumpled cancer crab represent the platinum analog's use as an anti-cancer therapy. The platins are effective against a broad range of solid tumors, including non-small cell and small cell lung cancers, as well as genitourinary cancers such as testicular, ovarian, and bladder cancers. A major side effect of platinum analogs is neurotoxicity, including ototoxicity and peripheral neuropathy. Normally, we represent ototoxicity with a tinnitus-inducing gong, and as a reminder here, we have the gong shape incorporated into this Manhattan socialite's large ototoxic earrings. Ototoxicity is especially prevalent with cisplatin therapy. This agent targets the outer hair cells in the organ of Corti, and the ototoxicity is characterized by a dose-dependent, high-frequency sensory neural hearing loss with tinnitus. Carboplatin is less ototoxic than cisplatin, although ototoxicity is still seen at high doses. And oxaliplatin? It turns out that ototoxicity is rarely observed. Symmetrical, predominantly sensory peripheral neuropathy is a common complication of cisplatin therapy that develops in most patients. Clinically, cisplatin-induced peripheral neuropathy is characterized by the subacute development of numbness, paresthesias, or pain in a stocking glove distribution. And fittingly, this gamine is wearing long black gloves to match that iconic little black dress. Neurotoxicity is also common with oxaliplatin, however it's only seen with carboplatin at higher doses. Cisplatin is also one of the most nephrotoxic antineoplastic therapies in use. Multiple mechanisms contribute to renal dysfunction following exposure to cisplatin. These include tubular epithelial cell toxicity, vasoconstriction in the renal microvasculature, and pro-inflammatory effects, all of which can lead to acute kidney injury or AKI. So let this large kidney-shaped purse on Holly's flank remind you of the nephrotoxicity associated with cisplatin therapy. This nephrotoxicity can also manifest as an extensive acute tubular necrosis, or ATN, in addition to apoptosis of the proximal tubular endothelial cells. Remember that the classic urinalysis in ATN shows muddy brown granular epithelial cell casts and free epithelial cells, as represented by this rusty necrotic drain pipe on the side of the platinum shop, dumping out some muddy water. Overall, nephrotoxicity is less likely with carboplatin therapy and rare with oxaliplatin. Amifostine is an organic thiophosphate agent that can be used to protect against cisplatin-induced nephrotoxicity. Amifostine works by binding to and detoxifying the reactive metabolites of cisplatin. Do you see that sign in the window? That's amethyst for amifostine. And not only that, the advertisement states that those purple amethyst crystals are free and just ready to be scavenged from that kidney-shaped purse in the window. If you make a purchase, of course. Well, amifostine acts as a scavenger of free radicals, reactive molecules that may be generated by cisplatin in renal tissue. However, to avoid the toxicity and cost associated with amifostine treatment, a better option is to use a less nephrotoxic alternative such as carboplatin. In reality, when IV fluids are given before and after cisplatin delivery, the risk of nephrotoxicity is very low. The administration of IV saline to induce a diuresis remains the primary approach for preventing cisplatin-induced nephrotoxicity and must be used in all patients treated with cisplatin. Mannitol is also frequently used to induce diuresis, although there's no evidence that this is required. The addition of a diuretic like furosemide is also generally not required unless there's evidence of fluid overload. Remember, of all the platins at your disposal, it's cisplatin that's associated with the highest risk of nephro, oto, and neurotoxicity. With carboplatin, on the other hand, myelosuppression is the main dose-limiting toxicity, as depicted by this empty, depleted jewelry box with that red velvety, marrowy lining. Alright, for our next anti-neoplastic sketch, we're heading under the sea, where we'll encounter a few more precious stones that, instead of forming crosslinks, insert themselves into DNA in order to bring a halt to DNA synthesis. So, follow me! What? Come on, you guys! The Hudson River is cleaner than you think! Just don't open your mouth! Whoa! Something touched my leg! Something touched my...